My name's Danielle and I'm 38. 3 months ago, my husband of 10 years, Marc Tremblay, called me out of nowhere on a Wednesday afternoon. I thought he forgot his wallet or locked himself out of his music studio again. Instead, the first thing he said was, "I'm not coming home. I'm with Chantal now." Just like that. Flat? No hesitation, no apology, not even a lead-up. Like he was giving me a business update or reading off a script. I didn't say anything at first. I just listened. Not because I was frozen or confused, but because I knew this moment was coming. I just didn't know it would be this clean, this cold, and definitely not over a phone call. He went on like I was his assistant. He was delegating his breakup to. She gets me, Danielle. She understands what I'm trying to do with my music. She supports it. She believes in me in a way you never really did. He paused for maybe 2 seconds, probably expecting me to argue, cry, beg, scream. I did none of that. I was still just listening. Then he dropped the real punchline. I moved the money from the TFSA and the joint account. Took my share. Maybe more, but I earned it. I've been meaning to do this for a while. That's when I sat down. Not because I was hurt, or panicking, or devastated. I sat down because this was the moment I'd planned for. Not hoped for. Planned for. Because I'd seen this coming a long time ago, and when you work in cybersecurity, you don't wait to get blindsided. You build the trap before anyone knows there's a game. I didn't respond. I just said, okay. One word. Then I hung up. I didn't ask how long he'd been with Chantal or if he was serious or if it was something I did. None of that mattered anymore. I opened my laptop, logged into our financial dashboard, and there it was. 2 pending transfers. 1 to an account in Marc's name, another to something called CL Music Support Fund with Chantal's initials. Total amount, $212,000. I clicked on details. Both transactions were over the dual authentication limit, which meant neither had gone through yet, which meant I was still in control. Because 3 months ago, when I started noticing things were off, I'd taken steps. The late rehearsals that didn't match venue bookings, the texts that made him smile, then disappear, the way he suddenly got private with his laptop. I started moving our savings into a trust account under my consulting firm. Changed access. Left just enough in the TFSA and joint account to look normal, about 2 months' worth of deposits. And built a failsafe. Any transfer above $10,000 needed approval from both of us. I hadn't told Marc. Why would I? So I stared at the screen. 2 transfers blinking, waiting on me. And I knew this wasn't a betrayal. This was an attempted robbery dressed as a breakup. And it failed. I shut the laptop. Didn't approve, didn't decline, just shut it and sat in silence. I didn't cry, didn't drink, didn't call anyone. I just stared ahead for maybe 5 minutes. My hands weren't shaking. My breath wasn't short. Something inside me switched. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was about strategy, precision, execution. This was my field. Marc entered it without knowing the rules. It started months ago with small things. A skipped dinner. We'd made plans, but 2 hours before Marc texted, saying he couldn't make it because Chantal needed help with a last-minute showcase at the Arts Center. No apology, no reschedule, just that. I said okay, even though I'd prepped food, moved meetings. That stuck with me. Not because I was mad, but because it wasn't him. Marc used to apologize, used to reschedule, used to care. Then another time he came home late, smelling like wine. Not the kind we kept at home. Said he'd been at a team meeting, but his calendar was blank. I didn't call him out, just noted it. Then came the passwords. Marc used to leave his phone buzzing on the counter. His laptop open, no secrets. But he started flipping his screen shut when I walked by, keeping his phone face down, changing passwords without telling me. It wasn't privacy. It was hiding. Then the Chantal stories. Always casual, tossed in like side notes. She's got this vision for the youth program. She's helping me rethink my set list. She believes in my work. The way he said her name. I heard it. It wasn't admiration. It was craving. One night, I caught him watching her old performance on YouTube at midnight with headphones. His face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. I didn't say anything, just walked back to bed. That's when I knew, not just an affair, but something deeper, something that was pulling him away piece by piece. I didn't react. I started preparing. I didn't snoop his phone or hire a PI. I'm in cybersecurity. I know how to detect patterns, read logs, trace metadata. I checked our shared cloud folder for business receipts. Marc had uploaded restaurant bills from places he never mentioned, like Miku, a fancy spot in Vancouver. I cross-checked timestamps with his calendar. He said he was home working or rehearsing solo. The math didn't add up. One charge pushed me over. $640 at Hawksworth. On a Saturday, he claimed he was visiting his cousin in Kelowna. I stared at that PDF like it was a confession. I didn't cry, didn't scream. I felt this cold focus settle in, like when I'm debugging a system. This wasn't about feelings anymore. This was about evidence, and I was already collecting it. I'm staring at that $640 Hawksworth receipt, knowing Marc lied about Kelowna, and I'm not hurt, I'm just done. I didn't confront him, didn't yell. Confronting's for people who want answers. I wanted control. That same night, I set up a trust account under my consulting firm. I didn't clean out our savings in one go, that's sloppy. I moved small amounts, weekly disguised as vendor payments, internal transfers, kept the TFSA and joint account looking healthy, just enough to avoid suspicion. Then I set the kill switch, a dual authentication rule for any withdrawal over $10,000. Our bank RBC allowed it with a form. I faked Marc's signature. I knew his weird R's and S's practiced twice, submitted it. They approved it in 2 days. I tested it with a $12,000 transfer to an older account. It flagged. The trap was live. I also got Marc to sign 2 documents he never read. Told him they were tax forms for the Canada Revenue Agency. One signed over consent to reassign investment accounts, the other made me sole decision-maker on our business structure. He signed at the kitchen table watching a sound engineering documentary, didn't even read the headers. I slid them into my folder, kept eating. I'd spent hours perfecting that moment, making it casual, so he wouldn't suspect a thing. The whole time I didn't change my tone. Still made dinner, kissed him goodbye, asked about rehearsals. That's what makes me sick. Now, thinking back, not what he did, but how much I faked to buy time to protect myself. Every smile, every "how was your day," was a mask to keep him from seeing the firewall I was building. The worst was a hotel confirmation in his email for Whistler booked under Marc Tremblay and guest. I saw it late at night when he left his laptop open for once. My stomach twisted like someone punched me. I wanted to scream, throw his phone through the window. But I copied it, saved it to my encrypted drive, and scheduled a call with Luc Tremblay, a family law lawyer I knew through a friend. Smart cold when needed. I wasn't ready to file, but needed to know my options. Luc walked me through legalities, asked if I was okay. I said that wasn't the point. I was trying to be ready. He gave me a rundown of British Columbia's property laws, explained how assets could be split if I acted first. I took notes. Didn't let my voice shake. That call was my first real step toward shutting the door. Marc's texts got shorter. One-word replies, no kiss emojis, no love you at call's end. Physical stuff stopped. The man who reached for me in bed was suddenly too tired or had a lot on his mind. I slept with. My back turned, felt this quiet anger growing, not loud, not explosive, just steady like a program running in the background. I knew the marriage was over for him. He just hadn't told me. So I timed everything. Asset transfers, trust creation, permissions, evidence collection. I had a spreadsheet with tabs, financial activity, travel, inconsistencies, suspicious behavior, communications flagged. Each entry was a piece of the puzzle. Hotel receipts, calendar mismatches, late-night logins to our cloud. I wasn't building a case. I was building a firewall around my future. And then that Wednesday call came. Marc saying he was leaving, taking his share of the money. I didn't argue because I was 2 steps ahead. The money he thought he took was never really there. I'd been moving it for weeks, watching his every move, waiting for him to pull the trigger. When he did, it was almost a relief. Like finally, the game was on, and I was ready. The next morning, I got a knock on the door. It was Sophie, Marc's best friend, turned messenger. She gave me that awkward half smile, like she was doing me a favor. He asked me to grab some of his things, guitar pedals, a few jackets, and to check if the transfer went through. There it was. The real reason. I didn't say anything, stepped aside, let her in. She walked in like the house wasn't ours anymore. Didn't want to touch anything, just grab and go. I pointed to the hallway closet. It's in there. She grabbed the pedal case, came back to the kitchen, lingered like she wanted to ask more, but didn't have the courage. So I helped her. I opened my laptop, turned it toward her. The screen showed pending approval. Her face fell for half a second. She nodded, said, "Okay," walked out. 2 days later, Sophie came back. I wasn't expecting her. She stood at the door, shifting her weight, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. "Danielle, I'm sorry about all this. Marc's a mess, keeps asking about the money. Can you just tell me what's going on?" I looked at her, didn't smile, didn't soften. "He made his choice, Sophie. Tell him to talk to my lawyer." She blinked like she hadn't expected, that nodded, left with nothing. I shut the door, felt this surge of power. Not anger, just clarity. I wasn't explaining myself to anyone anymore. Marc called 7 times that day. I didn't answer. He texted, "We need to talk. What are you doing? This isn't fair." I ignored every message. He thought this was a negotiation. It wasn't. That night I called Luke, laid it out. Not emotions, not drama, just facts. The affair's timing, the attempted transfer evidence of financial manipulation, the narrative he'd pitch in court. Luke's didn't blink. "We file first," he said. "It sets the tone." I said, "Do it." He asked how far I wanted to go. I said, "He gets nothing more than the law allows, no leverage, no alimony, nothing extra." He asked if this was revenge. I said no. This is about shutting the door for good. Luke filed the divorce petition the next morning. Financial misconduct, attempted asset stripping, fraudulent intent. Packed in legal language that bled betrayal without screaming it. By noon, Marc was served. He didn't call, didn't text. Probably ran to. Chantal told her I was vindictive, said I was ruining his life. Good. Let him spin his victim story. I wasn't playing defense anymore. I went back to my laptop, checked the dashboard again. The transfers were still pending, still waiting on me. I didn't touch them. Let them sit. Let Marc feel the weight of his own choices. Marc gets served, and I'm waiting for his next move because I know he won't just sign and walk away. 3 days later, I get a letter from his lawyer. Standard demands 50% of assets, access to joint accounts, a fair division. Hilarious. They didn't know the money was moved. Assets walled off. Accounts locked. Luke read it, smirked. "They're going to strong-arm you." I said, "Let them try." Because Marc thought I was just some uptight woman who didn't support his dreams. He thought I was a spreadsheet in human form. He didn't get that I'd been tracking him for months. Legally, digitally, financially, quietly. This wasn't a reaction. This was a countermove I'd been planning since the first skip dinner. Then, out of nowhere, a plain envelope shows up at my office. No return address, just my name typed. I opened it, found a USB drive, and a note. "This conversation never happened. You'll know what to do with it." No name, no signature. I plugged it into a clean laptop, not the company one. A folder popped up, labeled CT, Marc. Inside were screenshots, PDFs, audio recordings, emails between Chantal and Marc dating back over a year, messages about accessing the Arts Center's server, notes on music licensing, not supposed to leave the center, discussions about uploading unreleased performances to an outside distributor, forwarded contracts, drafts of grant proposals with changed names, duplicate claims. It wasn't just an affair. They were stealing content, faking documents, building a side hustle on other people's work. I opened an audio file. Marc's voice. "Chantal, I logged in last night after she went to bed. Got the original files. Renamed them so they wouldn't flag anything. You should be able to download now. Let me know if it works." Clear as day. The tone he used when asking what I wanted for dinner. Calm, normal, like it was just another task. I sat there breathing. This was bigger than I thought. Not just personal. Professional fraud. I scrolled through the emails, saw dates going back to when Mark and I were still planning our anniversary. They'd been at this for over a year. Right under my nose. I didn't feel hurt, just focused like I was analyzing a security breach. This was evidence, and it was gold. I called Luke, told him about the drive, asked if it was admissible. He said yes, especially since I didn't hack it. It was given to me. He asked if I wanted to go public. I said not yet. I wanted to use it quietly, smartly. But I couldn't stop thinking about the scope. They weren't just cheating on me. They were cheating artists, performers, the whole center. I spent that night going through every file, every email, every recording. Not because I needed to feel something, but because I needed to know exactly what I had. By morning, I knew this wasn't just about my marriage anymore. This was about stopping them. We drafted a counter-proposal. Mark would walk away with $50,000, no claim to the trust, no alimony, no spousal support. In return, I wouldn't forward the USB to Chantal's board or law enforcement. We attached one screenshot from the drive, just enough to show we had something real. They responded within hours, suddenly open to reasonable terms. I knew they were rattled. Mark probably thought he could bluff his way out, but that screenshot was a checkmate. We scheduled a meeting at Luke's office neutral space. I got there early, went over everything. Luke told me to stay calm, stay factual, don't show emotion. Let the documents speak. Mark walked in with his lawyer. His face looked smaller, hollow, like the ego had drained out. He wouldn't look at me. His lawyer talked, said we were aggressive using questionable leverage. Luke didn't flinch, slid the folder across the table. We're not here to fight. We're here to finish. Mark's lawyer opened it, read the email, saw the file name, went quiet, looked at Mark. Mark's jaw tightened, whispered something. The lawyer sighed, said they needed time privately. Luke and I left the room. I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. No tears, no smudged mascara. Just me alive, sharp, done waiting. I thought about that audio file. Mark's voice, so casual, like stealing, was just another Tuesday. It didn't make me angry anymore. It made me certain. 10 minutes later, they agreed. Mark would take $50,000, sign an NDA, confirm I wouldn't pursue further. Mark signed. I signed. The lawyer stamped it. That was it. After the lies, the dinners, the music, the passwords, the betrayal, it ended with 3 signatures and a black pen. Mark looked at me for the first time in weeks, said, "I didn't think you'd go this far." I said, "You thought I'd just take it." He didn't reply, just walked out. No hug, no drama, no last word. And that was the best part. I didn't need anything from him, not even closure. But I wasn't done. I had to deal with Chantal. She was still out there thinking she'd skate free. I opened a new email account, not tied to my name, fresh, untraceable. Wrote one short message, attached 6 files from the USB. Sent it to 4 addresses. The CEO of the Arts Center, the chair, their legal counsel, their compliance officer. Subject, urgent, internal IP theft by executive staff. I hit send. That was Monday. By Wednesday, Claire called me, said the center was in chaos. They got your email. It's a mess. Chantal's been suspended pending review. I didn't confirm it was me, just listened. She said they were pulling logs, auditing grants, checking everything. By Thursday, Chantal's name was gone from their staff page. No press release, no announcement, just gone. Friday, the board chair replied, "We've launched a formal investigation." Thank you. I deleted the account. Didn't need to know more. I knew enough. Chantal's out, but I'm not celebrating. It's not about winning. It's about moving on. Mark texted that night. "Was it you?" I didn't answer. He sent another. "She lost her job. She's blaming me." "You win." Still didn't reply. Then I know it was you. I turned off my phone. That was it. A week later, Luke forwarded a news article. Small headline in the Vancouver Culture section: Senior Arts Executive resigns amid financial review. No name, no photo. Just a line saying Chantal Lefebvre's departure was effective immediately. I saved it not because I needed it, but because it marked the end of something. Marts didn't reach out again. I stayed busy, worked longer, hours went to the gym, slept, actually slept, not tossing, not staring at the ceiling, just slept. Because I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop anymore. Marc dropped it, and I was walking past it. Then Claire, one of the few at the Arts Center not caught in the drama, called, asked to meet for coffee. We met downtown Vancouver, at a small place near Granville Island. She didn't waste time. We knew something was going on but didn't have proof. When the email came, it was everything. I didn't confirm or deny, just listened. She said it wasn't just your content they used. They were pulling material from other performers, other departments, faking grant numbers, re-editing videos as new work. It was worse than we thought. Then she said, "You saved us a lawsuit, maybe more." I nodded. Didn't say much. Just sipped my coffee. She handed me a card, said they were hiring a digital security lead, someone internal, trusted who understood tech and people. I didn't take it right away, said I'd think about it. That weekend I sat with it. Thought about the breakdown, the betrayal, the planning, the silence. I'd walked through hell without screaming. Now I was being offered a job because of it. I kept thinking about what Claire said about the other artists. Young performers who'd trusted the center only to have their work stolen, repackaged, sold off by Marc and Chantal. That hit me harder than the affair. I wanted to be part of fixing that, not just for me, but for them. So I said yes, started the following Monday. It wasn't just a job. It was a reset, a way back into a world I cared about: protecting artists, not tearing them down, building systems to keep people honest. The first week was intense. I met the team, walked through their servers, saw how sloppy their security was. No wonder Marc and Chantal got away with it for so long. I started drafting new protocols, training staff on basic encryption. One of the younger artists, a singer named Mia, pulled me aside, said she'd heard about the anonymous tip that cleaned house. "Was it you?" I just smiled, said, "Doesn't matter who it was. Matters what we do now." She nodded, bought me a coffee later like a thank you. That felt good, not because of the praise, but because it meant the center was starting to heal. A month in, I got a message from Marc's old bandmate. Said Marc tried to rejoin their group, but no one wanted him. Word had spread about the mess, the files, how he handled everything. No one wanted to touch him. I didn't feel vindicated, just done. Done watching him fall. Done wondering what he'd do next. Done carrying his life in mine. But then, Marc started texting again, 2 months after the settlement. Unknown number. "No greeting, Danielle. Can we talk, please? I'm not okay." I knew it was him. Stared at it, didn't reply. 15 minutes later, "I messed everything up. I know that now. Chantal's gone. I lost the band. I don't know where to start. 3 hours later, I think about you every day. I miss what we had. You didn't deserve how I handled things. I was stupid. Please meet me for coffee, just to talk." This wasn't an apology. It was a setup, the moment someone who ruined everything tries to claw back in because they've run out of people to listen. I read it again, not tempted, but curious how far he'd go. He called next morning. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail, said he was in therapy facing things, wanted to make things right, missed my voice, hadn't played music because it reminded him of me. I deleted it. That night, he emailed 3 paragraphs, said he understood why I did what I did, admired how I handled it, wished he could take it back, wanted to be friends. Friends, after everything. I forwarded it to Luke, asked if it was harassment. He said no, but keep everything messages, voicemails, emails, just in case. A week later, at a conference, an old friend of Marc's pulled me aside, said Marc was telling people I ruined. His life framed him, manipulated everything. There it was. When people like him lose, they rewrite the story. Couldn't say he got caught. Had to say, I ambushed him, cold, calculated, cruel. I wasn't shocked, just tired. Tired of his voice, still trying to creep into my life. Marc's out there spinning his victim story, but I'm not surprised. I called Luke, said I wanted to shut it down before it grew. He said the NDA was airtight. If Marc breached it with vague implications, we could pursue damages. Offered to send a warning letter. I said knew I'd do it myself. Waited for Marc's next text, and when it came, I replied, not with anger, not threats, just facts. Marc, stop. You made choice. I protected myself. You're not welcome in my life anymore. If you continue to contact me or speak about me, I will take action. Do not mistake my silence for weakness. He didn't reply. A week passed. Nothing. Then one last message, I'm sorry. I didn't answer. That was the end. No coffee shop scene, no hug, no tears, just silence. He disappeared from my life for good. I didn't tell anyone for weeks because it didn't feel like victory. It felt like sweeping up the last shard of a shattered glass cleanup, that's all. Then, Claire pulled me aside after a meeting, said she wanted me to meet Isabel, a legal consultant, helping restructure the arts center post-Chantal. We met that Friday at a quiet cafe near the Vancouver seawall. Isabel was sharp, kind, direct, said, I've heard you kept this place from falling apart. I laughed, said, not single-handedly. We grabbed coffee next day, talked contracts, cyber laws, stupid ex mistakes, her Halifax apartment, my old dog from when I was 23. It didn't feel like flirting, just easy. A week later, we went for dinner at a small bistro in Yaletown. Isabel ordered a glass of Okanagan wine, laughed when I said I hadn't been out like this in years. For the first time in months, I smiled without checking who was watching. Didn't have to explain myself, hide how careful I'd become. She got it, respected. It didn't ask me to be soft, just let me be. That was enough. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the CRA forwarded to my office. They'd audited the center, triggered by my anonymous files. Weren't after me, asked if I'd consult on financial security digital compliance fraud detection. I'd become their case study without realizing. Claire vouched for me, so did the new board chair. I didn't apply, they just asked. I said yes. Started consulting part-time while keeping my center job. That week, the first scholarship payments cleared. During the separation, I'd set aside part of the trust into a DS education account, didn't know why, then just knew I didn't want the money sitting there. Partnered with a Vancouver nonprofit for grants to women studying digital ethics, cybersecurity, financial justice. No press. No name on the wall. Saw real names, recipients, futures built. One email came from a student named Priya, said, Your anonymous donor kept me from dropping out. I'm graduating next spring. I read it twice, saved it. That was enough. A month later, I got another letter from a different student, this one handwritten, forwarded through the nonprofit. I don't know who you are, but your gift changed my life. I'm the first in my family to go to university. Thank you. I didn't cry, just sat there feeling this quiet pride. Not loud, not showy, just real. I forwarded it to Claire, said, This is why we do it. She smiled, said the center was planning to name a grant after an anonymous donor. I told her to keep it anonymous. Didn't need my name on it. The work was enough. Marc was quiet. Industry folks said his name was untouchable. Tried freelance work, didn't land pitched projects. No takers, burned every bridge. I didn't feel bad, didn't feel anything. He built that, not me. Chantal went to Calgary. I heard tried an arts consultancy. Wasn't going well. The center's board confirmed misappropriation, but no legal action, wanted it quiet. I'd kept the USB with everything. Luke asked if I wanted to destroy it. I said no, kept it as proof I wasn't crazy. Didn't imagine it. But one night I realized I didn't need it wiped, every file gone. The real record was in my job, my choices, the people I helped. No one got the better of me. Last time I heard Marc's name, it didn't sting. Someone at work said, Wasn't Marc Tremblay supposed to be on that panel? Another said, He's disappeared. No one wants to work with him. No drama, no scandal. Just silence fitting. He vanished, like he snuck around quietly, thinking no one would notice. But people did eventually walked away. I didn't chase him out, didn't burn his bridges. His choices did. Isabel and I planned a Whistler trip for the weekend. We rented a small cabin, talked about hiking, maybe just staying in with coffee and a fire. She asked if I was nervous about being away from work. I said no. For the first time in years, I wasn't looking over my shoulder. She smiled, said, "Good. You deserve that." A week before the trip, I got a photo from the Scholarship Foundation. Students holding certificates, smiling, ready for the world. Note said, "Whoever you are, thank you. I'm graduating because of this." I didn't cry, just closed my laptop, exhaled. That was the ending, not confrontation, not revenge. Quiet, solid closure. I wasn't waiting for apologies checking their lives. They'd expired. Access revoked. The trust Marc tried to drain now funded 10 students yearly. My job became permanent, then promoted. Claire became an ally. Isabel became my safe place. I slept through the night, not from exhaustion, but peace. I didn't just rebuild. I upgraded, became everything they thought I'd never be without them, calm in control, untouchable. And now I'm building something bigger, not just for me, but for every woman who gets told her strength is too much. That's my story, and it's only the beginning.